I know that LinkedIn is really intimidating. A lot of my clients who came to me, who are at T-Mobile, for example, for 18 years, no LinkedIn profile. If you've been with a company for that long, the entire company should be on your LinkedIn. Because why, guys? When those employees or colleagues leave the organization, they can end up at any of other dream company that you may want to get your foot in the door. So if you're not linked in with them, how on earth are you going to get into the door? What are you going to do? Spam the recruiter? You don't want to do that. If you have less than 1,000 connection on LinkedIn, hang on a second. When I say connection, I don't mean about just accepting connection. No. LinkedIn only allows 30,000 connections. So be very cautious on who you let in. You don't just randomly want to accept anyone's invite, then you'll end up deleting them, down the road. And that's creating more work for you. Meaning that if you have the wrong folks on your LinkedIn network, you're just going to spend your time either A, responding to them, telling them you're not interested, whatever service they're offering you, or worse, you don't know what to do with them, but you know that you still have to click on their profile or their message to read them. So that's wasting your time. This is a season of recession. There is no time to waste. If you're going to spend time on LinkedIn, just make a better portfolio on yourself. Right here, I would ask for you all to invest. It is $450, including the LinkedIn Accelerator, including step-by-step guide from me with my resume and my information, including example for tech, tech, non-tech, and basically a lot of the roles, examples of what a perfect resume should be like, buzzword, everything. Also included me reviewing both of your credential once you have completed. I heard some companies don't want to hire layoff people. That's not true. That's not true because, of course, layoff does have to do with low performer, but that's not always the case. So it's not due to performance. It's just that they don't have the needs. The employer should respect the candidate and they will never ask those questions. I got laid off. This Friday is my last day. I'm in HR as a recruiter. For me, I've been recruiting for over 20 years and I decided to no more touch recruiting. And I want to get into training programs and I became a coach like this. So don't just look in getting back into HR and recruiting. I want to challenge you. What else can you do with what you love to do and do more of outside of just coming back to a recruiting role? Because I think that is really risky right now, taking any recruiting position because the expectation is so damn high right now. If you accept another job right now as a recruiting manager, you know you're going to wear a lot of hats, Tom. So ask yourself, do you want to be in program management, maybe setting up a lot of employment, putting programs together and doing training on top of that or something? Should I review on an interview that I got laid off? Well, if no one is asking you, I wouldn't. Do not overshare unless someone is asking you. I repeat, do not overshare too much information unless it's being asked, because that is an art of interview playing ping pong back and forth. For instance, if someone were to ask you, why did you leave your current employer? Or, I've seen that you've done really great here. Why Amazon or whatever company it is? Simply just say, well, because I was affected with the recent layoff, period. That would just shut them up right away. Unless they ask, do not offer that information. You need to figure something else different, okay? It's kind of like you're dating someone. Okay, in a dating relationship and you're heartbroken, you've broken up with someone or vice versa, whatever it is, the number one thing that people love to do is immediately rebound, or you can't stand being alone with yourself and you wanted to go be with someone else immediately. It's not going to work out because you bring a lot of those pain and suffering to the next person and you don't allow yourself to heal and regain that confidence, clarity in what you want from the next person. So your career is the exact same thing, guys. Exact same thing, okay? You've been at the company for so long. Allow yourself, give yourself like a couple weeks, a month off. Just do what you do best and regain that confidence. I think exercising is the best thing you can do for yourself. Eating healthy, giving yourself a sense of clarity in your brain. Just do you. Be you. Be you. Because when you start reaching out with employers and network, especially when your face is in front of them and you're ready to get that job, they can see that you don't look and sound desperate, you're anxious, you're stressed out. Nobody will want to hire you or talk to you, okay? How short of a period of time before switching job can you consider job hopping? Well, if you're going to be at it with an employer every single year, that does consider job hopping, because in a year time, you, even though have built something from scratch or taking something from the initial to conception, but you haven't done a whole lot of that. It's almost as if you finish one project and you leave. You finish one project and you leave. I mean, take it however resonate with you guys. I'm coming from a recruiting and a recruiting leadership and an interviewing training for Microsoft, Meta, Oculus, Amazon, and Google. And that's exactly what their mentality is. So if I were you, again, I will not update my information when you've been with a job for a few months. I have an L4 assistant manager interview coming up. If you're interviewing for an L4, I don't know if they still do this, but generally when you're interviewing for an L4 non-tech, there's no bar racer. I don't know if that has changed, guys, but I'm going to assume that there's going to be a bar racer for all levels except new grads and more junior level, like an L2, L3 role, okay? You still got to have your stories for assistant manager, and I'm going to assume that at least 20, if not 30% of your interview questions are people management, meaning how do you manage your employees? How do you manage underperformers? How do you hire your best employee? How do you deal with conflict with, let's just say, another managers or your peers? So a lot of that stuff, it's allowing companies like Amazon or not, just any employer, to know that you have those skills and knowledge when things go wrong or if there's a fire. The remainder of the 70, 80% are all leadership principle based or leadership or soft skills, and also competency relating to your background and molding into your role. This role I'm negotiating for is L5 direct sales. Try getting L6. It's L5 good fit for me given my total experience. Yeah, because it's not a number of years of experience. Let me explain. When I joined Amazon Kindle, I was hired initially as a level 6 recruiter. And even back then, I had a lot of experience. I was already a manager at Microsoft before that. I worked at Google before that. So I've had over 10 years experience. I was still a level 6 and I made it to an L6. So it's very common. A lot of people with 10 years plus and they're L5, okay? It's not that you can't do the job. It has a lot to do with your delivery of your answer. Very clear, very concise, because a level 6 should be very detailed, concise, specific example, and they do not need to repeat themselves to re-ask you the probing questions or clarifying questions. That's a level 6. So the odds are if you're interviewing with any employer and they have to really clarify what you're trying to tell them, you know that's a level 5. I would get my foot in because down the road, you can always change role. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me, Marlon, because as a creator, it means the world to me that after you have landed a job, you just come back. It's not just for me, Marlon. It's just motivate everyone else who's watching right now, who's going through the exact same process you once were, and it truly does motivate them and bring them inspiration. If you all have any questions for me, don't be shy. Leave it in the comment section in the video. Thank you everyone for spending the time with me today. I will see you guys next week. Bye.